Campaign is showing. Greens candidate Mickey Berry claims the Australian Federation Party's Ryan Otto has been aggressive to them and volunteers.
We're not the only party that's lodged a complaint against Ryan. Really hard to just be out there doing your job as a candidate when someone is up in your personal space constantly and butting in when you're trying to talk to constituents.
Gen Allpass says she's also had issues with the candidate.
Attacking and harassing, particularly my elderly volunteers, is just not on.
But Mr Otto says an AEC probe investigating a complaint from Miss Allpass and the Greens was resolved last Wednesday.
There was no harassment and there's no evidence. If there was evidence, then there would be an actual legal investigation with the police, and the AEC has no jurisdiction. I've been having pleasant conversations with everyone here. Nothing has gotten too heated, nothing's gotten out of hand, and nothing's been repeated.
The AEC confirmed it received complaints, but they are not matters covered by the Electoral Act. Any party involved needs to take their grievance to the police. Candidates put the drama behind them at the pre-polling booths today as they made their 11th hour pitches to voters. Garth Hamilton announced a training hub for medical students would be opened under a re-elected Morrison government.
We know that the more training they do here, the more likely they are to stay here.
The LNP member said he was confident he'd retain what is Australia's second safest Conservative seat, but Melissa Bannister promised to put up a fight.
We are the other Conservative party and we are certainly fighting for people's freedoms.
Risa Utama, 7 News.
G'day, it is the 18th of May and I just got off the phone with the Australian Electoral Commission. Mickey Berry stopped by here at the Wilsonton 21 Jones Street pre-polling centre. It's almost 5 o'clock, Harlaxton. It's almost 5 o'clock, it's almost closing time, but I've got some people here who are willing to give a short little statement regarding my behaviour, that I've not been harassing people at the pre-polling centres and that I haven't been intimidating and whatnot since the Toowoomba Chronicle has posted this article about my alleged harassment of volunteers. So I'm here with, it's Wendy, right, from UAP?
Yes.
Yep, and what would you say that my demeanour has been? Have I been intimidating? Have I been harassing people?
I was only here for a short period of time, but no, we just changed over and you gave me the ropes and everything was quite calm. So, yes.
Awesome.
No problem.
No problem. Thank you. And Mike here from LNP.
Yeah, my name's Mike Robinson. I'm a booth worker with the LNP. On the 16th, Monday the 16th, I was rostered at the Harlaxton Jones Street booth from 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Your name was?
Ryan Otto.
And Ryan Otto was present when I was present, and he didn't harass or intimidate anyone in my presence.
Thank you. So I'm just here at the Harlaxton Voting Centre at 21 Jones Street, and I just wanted to ask our volunteers for One Nation, UAP and the Australian Federation Party if they've seen me engage in any form of harassment or misconduct or intimidation of any of the volunteers while you've been here.
I've seen none of the above, and I'm very surprised that those allegations have been made against you. I've known you since the start of this process and I have seen none of that behaviour at all. So I'm very surprised that those allegations have been made by anyone.
What do you think, Des?
Exactly the same. None of that is true. If anything, very much friendly face and very outgoing in communicating with all the other volunteers that are about. He's very friendly.
I concur.
Brilliant, thanks. G'day everyone. I'm here at the 21 Jones Street pre-polling centre after this debacle, and apparently 7 News went to the Toowoomba City pre-polling centre trying to find me to interview me about these nonsense allegations by the Greens and Labor candidates. So I'm going to give them a call right now and let's see if they try and do me dirty. I'm not going to be telling them that I'm recording it because they'll be recording it. So this is my backup in case they slander me yet again. Hi, my name's Ryan Otto. I'm running in Groom as a candidate for the Australian Federation Party. I was told that you wanted to interview me and find out where I stood on the whole false allegations from Labor and Greens regarding my supposed or alleged harassment of volunteers at the pre-polling booths.
Yeah, well, I actually reached out this morning because, we're trying to chat to all the candidates today,
Well, I'm here with Garth Hamilton at the 21 Jones Street.
Then we did obviously hear that about you, so we would love to give you the chance to defend yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Ryan?
Yes. Hang on. Sorry, I think I accidentally muted myself. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, we'd love to meet with you.
Can we do it over the phone? Because obviously I'm busy pre-polling and I can't spend my afternoon going in for an interview about something that's completely nonsense in my opinion and a waste of my time.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Are we able to meet you there? Then you don't have to go anywhere and we can just take a couple minutes with you and we can do it.
Oh, you want to film me? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be fine with that. 21 Jones Street, I'll be here.
Okay, how long will you be there for?
Oh, for the next hour? Hour and a half?
Okay, alright, let me just have a look, 1 second. How does 12:45 sound, Brian?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Alright, look forward to meeting you then.
Alright, see you. Bye.
See you, bye.
Alright, so they come in to see me in person and film me with their gotcha questions, I presume, so stay tuned for that. Bye.
Toowoomba Highway Patrol, Matt speaking.
Highway Patrol?
Put through to Senior Sergeant Tony Newman.
Sorry, could I please be put through to Senior Sergeant Tony Newman?
Bear with me, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
Changing some of their numbers.
G'day mate, my name's Ryan Otto. I'm with the Australian Federation Party and I'm running as a candidate here in the Groom election. And there's a whole scandal which I personally believe to be false allegations and defamation by the Toowoomba Chronicle against my character, saying that I've been harassing volunteers of the Greens and Labor parties here at the pre-polling centres. And I was just calling up to see if there's been any formal complaint to the police about myself in any capacity over the last 2 weeks.
So, specifically, what you're wanting to know is any complaints been made against you?
Has there been any complaints against me in any capacity, specifically regarding harassment of volunteers? No, there has not? So there's no current investigation against myself?
Not that has anything to do with anything like that.
Okay. Alright, because I was thinking of maybe coming in and making a statement if there was anything, but if there's not, that's fantastic news.
Okay.
Alright, well, I think that's everything then. Barry, was it?
Gary.
Gary, thank you Gary. Have a great day. Alright, bye.
Press that button once.
I think it's on. I think it's on.
Is it?
Yeah.
You have to keep going.
Pictures moving.
Let's move forward.
Pictures moving in front of one of your signs or a sign.
That's my sign.
Like that one. Yeah. I'll get out of the way.
Yeah. So unless you're laying down, I'm not going to be able to get that in the interview because it's a head and shoulders thing. Unless you want someone to hold it up beside your head.
You can. Roger, maybe?
Hold it up behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go. Alrighty. How's the morning been?
It's been interesting.
Yeah?
We've had a few people come through.
Oh, good. Nice. Alright, Ryan, can you just tell me your full name and how you spell it?
My full name is Ryan, R-Y-A-N, J-A-Y, and surname OTTO, O-T-T-O.
Okay, first of all, did you just want to tell us a little bit about these allegations?
Yeah, sure. I have been speaking on the phone to Trisha Benami, who is the Divisional Returning Officer of the AEC here in Toowoomba. I also spoke to the AEC head office. The complaints were actually resolved last Wednesday. They spoke to Mark Aldridge, one of our representatives, and he spoke to the state organiser, Brett Tunbridge, who's also running in Maranoa. And they weren't concerned in the slightest. It was resolved. The Toowoomba Chronicle posted that in the mail, in the paper yesterday, despite it being resolved over a week ago. I called up the police station and I spoke to Gary Wett, I think it was, and he said there was absolutely no allegations, no complaints, no investigation. The police are not investigating it because there are no real complaints. There's no evidence, and these are false allegations, and I'll be following up with the Toowoomba Chronicle for defamation.
Okay, so we spoke to the Greens and to the Labour.
Yeah, I spoke to Mickey Berry yesterday, and she said that she knew nothing about any of these allegations, and I have her on the phone with the AEC on a recorded phone call saying that she did not put in the complaint, she doesn't know who did, and she doesn't know anything about it, and she's had no problem with me. So I have her on record actually saying that. If she said anything otherwise, she's lying, at least in one instance.
Okay, and what would you say about Jen then?
Gen Allpass, I've barely spoken to Jen, and when I have, it's usually been cordial. She gave me the cold shoulder the other day when I said, "G'day, Jen," and she just scowled and she walked right past and ignored me, and I thought, why might that be? Well, right at the start of the campaign, when I asked her why she put me so low on her preferences, she said that our party had called refugees and migrants maggots, and I said, what's the source for that? And she went down and she went through her phone, and she was confident it was our party, the AFP, and then she found, oh no, it wasn't the Australian Federation Party, it was the Australia First Party, which has absolutely no relation. So it's not the first time she's given me a false allegation. This second time, she hasn't given any details of who, what, where, when, and what was the context, and there was no information in the Chronicle. I've asked for the information from the AEC as a matter of freedom of information, the email that was sent and the context for that complaint. The matter of the fact is, the complaint was not lodged with the police, and there was no recurring harassment. So all of these allegations are false, and I will be maintaining that position, that there was no harassment. And there's no evidence. If there was evidence, then there would be an actual legal investigation with the police, and the AEC has no jurisdiction. So if they were serious about allegations of harassment, they would contact the police.
Am I just able to clear something up, Ryan, just so that I have it correct in my head? Are you saying that neither the Greens or Labour filed a complaint at all?
Neither of them filed a complaint with the police, and I just spoke to the police on the phone, and they confirm that there is no investigation. The AEC probe was finished last week, and so this news article that was put yesterday was a smear tactic by the Chronicle and Tom Gillespie, who has it out for United Australia Party and One Nation and myself, because he is not ideologically conforming to what we're promoting on our platform. So it's slander and it's defamation and libel.
So you're saying no, the AEC did not receive a complaint?
No, the AEC did receive a complaint, but there was no evidence, and it was followed up on, and it was resolved, and there was no issue. There is currently no outstanding complaints against me. There is none. Not with the police, not with the AEC, it's all over.
Who did they receive the complaint from then?
From Gen Allpass. She emailed it through. I don't know who put in the complaint from the Greens. As I said, I filed a freedom of information request regarding that to find out what exactly the complaints were regarding, because I have no idea. I've been having pleasant conversations with everyone here. Nothing has gotten too heated, nothing's gotten out of hand, and nothing's been repeated. So I will maintain again that this is slander, libel, and I will be following it up with Tom Gillespie and the Chronicle. The Murdoch media press goes too far.
And what was the process of resolving that complaint from Jen?
resolving the complaint. Well, I went around to every pre-polling centre. I talked to the Labor volunteers, and the Greens volunteers weren't there. But I asked them if I had been intimidating or if I'd been harassing them, and if they felt uncomfortable at all by anything I had done and said, and nobody had any issues with me. And they all denied the fact that I was supposedly, allegedly harassing people. They said no. Every volunteer that I spoke to said they had no problem with me. So the complaints, as far as I'm concerned, I don't even know what incident they're talking about.
So
Nobody
Jen's
does.
claim that you made an elderly volunteer cry, what would you say to that?
I didn't, because there was an interaction maybe Tuesday where a lady told me to be quiet. We're in the polling centre. I said I have a right to speak, and that was it. That was the only words I ever said to her, and I wasn't even near her. It was across the room. And then she went her own way, I went my own way. There was no harassment involved whatsoever. So Gen Allpass has filed a false claim against me with the AEC, but not with the police. Why is that? Because the allegations are false. There is no evidence. If there was harassment, serial harassment like she said, there would be evidence. Everyone has phones these days, everyone can record, there would be evidence, but there is no evidence. So there are no harassment allegations and claims outstanding against my name.
If there was a misunderstanding where someone did feel upset by
I would
your
apologise. I have apologised to every volunteer, but they said there's nothing to apologise for.
I understand. And, you know, just as we sort of wrap up, this isn't a good look for you, obviously, Ryan.
I think it's a great look. I think it's fantastic, because any publicity is good publicity, and nobody likes the Greens and Labor in this electorate anyway. So, I mean, they're doing my job for me. They're putting my name out there. They're putting the Australian Federation Party platform out there for people to see that we're about change, and we're against all of this corrupt slander and defamation and throwing mud that the Liberal and the Labor Party do all the time. We're about having a proper conversation and not being underhanded, like Gen Allpass has been very underhanded.
You're not worried about your reputation?
Oh, I'm not worried at all. In fact, I think that people will vindicate my character simply on the basis that the media is trying to slander me, and nobody trusts the media these days. Sorry.
Thanks, Ryan.
No, thank you.
There's something else you wanted to say? You happy with that? Okay, you know, what's the message? You know, we've got you here on camera.
Yep, I've got myself on camera too to hold you accountable.
Great. What would you like the public to know about you? Who actually are you? You're not someone obviously harassing people, according to
No.
So what do you want them to know?
I'm a farm boy, I'm a teacher, I'm someone who's young and enthusiastic about changing politics and making it more representative for the average person. I feel like politicians have gotten out of touch. They don't know what they're representing anymore. They're not interacting with the public. Jen and Garth avoided most of the Meet the Candidates debates, and they haven't been putting their faces and names out there because they feel cozy, they feel comfortable. And this is the second safest seat in Australia. So Garth has no real incentive to actually put himself at risk by debating someone like myself who could challenge him and the things that he is saying.
You're confident for Saturday this one?
I am incredibly confident.
Good. Thank you. Good to meet you, Ryan. Appreciate your time. Well, I'm glad to hear it's resolved, and yeah, hopefully you can put it behind you.
Well, it already is behind me. There's no allegations, there's no complaints with the police, so it's not a real complaint. The AEC has no jurisdiction, and they can't do anything about it. They've already contacted the party. The party said, yep, great, awesome. I said, yep, great, awesome, and it didn't happen, but I'll go and I'll talk to them anyway, and I'll apologise if they did feel harassed. But there was no harassment. At least the person that I supposedly harassed has not come forward and said anything to me themselves.
So Mickey and Jen alignment this morning, they told me that they had lodged complaints and that you were...
No. They lodged complaints with the AEC. They did not lodge complaints with the police. And the AEC doesn't have jurisdiction, so they need to complain to the police.
So the Greens did lodge with the AEC, not just Jen?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Okay, both of them?
Yes.
Okay, but no one lodged with the police?
No, there was no complaints against the police because there's no evidence. It's a false allegation, and it's a smear tactic. Everyone can see that the days before the election. So I'm not worried at all.
And you've never heard from anyone else, like in person to your face, hey Ryan, you know, this doesn't, you're bothering volunteers, you're bothering the voters.
No.
Oh well, good on you. When did it first come to your attention that this was an issue then?
It actually first came to my attention on Wednesday morning when I saw the paper. The party was contacted, but they didn't really think much of it because, well, they know me, they know my character, they know I wouldn't do that. And so Mark hadn't actually contacted me and told me what had happened and told me about the complaints that the AC brought to him. Shrugging off. No skin off my nose.
Yeah. Do you have any words for Jen and Mickey then?
I'm sorry if Jen or Mickey felt at all uncomfortable, but I spoke to Mickey yesterday and she said she had no problem with me and she knew nothing about these complaints. So I think she's quite disingenuous, and I'm not very happy with the way that Jen and Mickey have done this behind my back instead of saying it to my face. They should have come up and said it to my face and said, look, stop talking to our volunteers, you're making them uncomfortable. None of that conversation happened until it was in the paper, and Jen still is ignoring me, so I don't know how I can resolve it with her, but the volunteers that I've talked to, the Labour volunteers, I've gone along with every single one of them and I've had no problems.
And is the GoPro just to make sure that you don't have any false claims? Because I think people are wondering, what's the GoPro about? Other people mentioned it to me earlier this morning.
The GoPro is about accountability because the media will come and they'll cut what I say all up and they'll slander me again. I had an interview with Channel 7 at the end of last year and I read from our Constitution and said, Section 51, Article 23A prohibits civil conscription of medical services, and I read from our foundational legal document and they censored that, and the only part that they aired, they snipped it out and did a hit piece on me and the freedom movement, and all I was shown on the TV was saying they are criminals for enforcing the mandates. They are straight up criminals, and that's all they showed. So the GoPro is for accountability, it's to hold you accountable, it's to hold me accountable. We need more transparency and less shallow investigative journalism.
Is that published regardless or only?
No, I'll only publish this if I feel like I need to. It's security for myself and to make sure that I've been done justice. Because I have been done injustice by your platform before.
Good on you. Keep us accountable.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, Ryan. Well, good luck for the rest of the pre-polling and election day.
Yeah, thank you.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice
Thanks
to
for
meet
your
you
time. See you later.
See ya, thank you. Hope it recorded all right.
Yeah, it should have. Hey Mel.
And that one. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good.
And that one, you go there.